What happens when the same person who messed you up the most still sits across the table like nothing ever happened? Their footsteps sound louder than they should. Every sigh feels like a warning shot. People love to call it overthinking, but it's not. It's your body keeping score. Every slammed door, every raised voice, it trained you to survive before you even knew what surviving meant. That's not paranoia. That's the residue living in your chest, your skin, your pulse. If that sounds familiar, don't tune out, because this next part is where it really gets uncomfortable and real. Growing up with a narcissistic parent doesn't just fade when you turn 18, it sticks to your bones. One sharp tone and suddenly you're 10 years old again, waiting for impact. Your body doesn't care that you're older now, it reacts like the danger never ended. And then you've got people on the outside throwing out lazy advice like, just move out, as if geography fixes trauma. Nah, this isn't about leaving the house. It's about living inside a body that never got the memo the war was over. So let's pull the curtain back. 3 brutal realities that childhood drilled into you: the body alarm, the disappearing act, and the survival hustle. Let's start with the first one. Reality 1. The body alarm. Your body became the smoke detector of the house. You didn't need a speech. You felt danger in the air before it had a shape. The creak of a door, the drag of footsteps, the way silence suddenly got heavy. Your chest already knew what was coming. That's not imagination. That's training. Your nervous system learned to hit the panic button before your brain even caught up. The upside: you read people better than they read themselves. You can spot lies, fake smiles, and hidden anger before anyone else notices. The downside: you never really rest. Your body is wired like it's got sirens running in the background, and it doesn't matter if you're at work, with friends, or alone. You're still scanning, still bracing. Spend enough years like that, and you don't just stay alert. You start fading out of yourself just to keep the peace. That's the next reality: the disappearing act. Reality 2. The disappearing act. You learned early that being yourself was risky, so you built versions of you that kept things calm. Around one parent, you were the obedient angel. Around the other, maybe the high achiever. With both, sometimes the safest move was silence. It wasn't fake. It was survival. You wore masks like armor, and you got so good at it that people think they know you when they don't have a clue. The upside? You can walk into any room, school, work, strangers' houses, and blend right in. You know how to adapt, how to read the energy, how to be what keeps things steady. The downside: after years of shrinking, bending, and adjusting, you can forget who you are when no one's watching. You stare in the mirror and it feels like you're looking at a stranger. That's the cost of disappearing. But the real twist: those masks you wore to survive don't have to stay on forever. Reality 3. The survival hustle. Rest never felt safe. You learned that if you slowed down, you'd be called lazy. If you messed up, you'd be shamed. So you pushed harder. Studying, working, performing like failure meant punishment. And back then, it kind of did. The upside? You became relentless. While other people crumble under pressure, you move like pressure is your natural habitat. You can outwork, outlast, and outsurvive just about anyone. The downside? You don't know when to stop. Burnout feels normal. Exhaustion feels like home. You confuse survival with success, and the grind becomes your identity. That's the hustle you built in chaos, but chaos isn't meant to be a permanent address. These things you carry, they're not just scars. They're tools, sharpened in the ugliest way possible. Hyper-alertness, disappearing, hustling, none of that came from peace, but now it's part of your arsenal. They can eat you alive if you let them run unchecked, or they can be turned into something lethal against the world that tried to break you. You didn't just grow up in a house, you grew up in a battlefield. And the messed up truth is that training changed how you play the game of life. Where other people crack, you've already been through worse. Chaos feels familiar. Pressure feels like home turf. That's the twist. What once hurt you now makes you dangerous in ways most people can't even imagine. Surviving isn't living. You can weaponize what you've been through, sure, but if you never relearn softness, joy, or rest, you'll win battles and still lose yourself. The world will clap for your resilience, while inside you're running on fumes. The skills that kept you alive aren't a life sentence. They're yours to control now. And the choice is simple. Keep surviving like the war never ended, or finally give yourself the chance to live like it did. If you're still figuring out how to do that, how to work with your subconscious, unlearn toxic loops, handle emotions, or stop modern traps from eating your time, there's something worth checking out. An ebook called Control Alt Grow dives into exactly that. It's not written like a lecture, more like a mirror. Inside are tools to reset your mind, understand triggers, and take back control. And if a whole book feels heavy right now, there are articles out there that unpack the same ideas in smaller pieces. They're free, quick to read, and might be the nudge you need to take the next step. Links in the description. And that's where I'll leave you. You're not overreacting. You're reacting to a war you never signed up for. The fact that you're still standing already proves more than anyone can see. What I'd like you to do, share your story in the comments. Someone else scrolling through might see it and realize they're not alone. If you found this useful, hit subscribe. There's more coming on healing, resilience, mindset, and taking back your life. Protect your peace, learn your own patterns, and keep growing. Links below if you want to dive deeper.